I may have gone a little overboard. I wanted to build the ultimate rig for filming 4K 120 frames per second video with the new iPhone 16 Pro Max. So I went on a quest and got all these accessories, built it around the Moment MagSafe cage, and I'm going to walk you through every piece of gear that I put on here, plus how I filmed with an external monitor, charged my phone, 4K 120 to an external SSD, which SSDs failed the test, and yes, I even got the little umbrella you might have seen during the Apple event. So first off, I started with the Moment Mobile Filmmaker Cage. They actually just announced a new super cage that has a USB-C hub built in. It's on their Kickstarter, so you can't get it right now, but I found this cage to work great. Plus there's other ones like from Ulanzi and SmallRig, but I love being able to attach my phone via MagSafe and not have to use a clamp. First thing I did was buy some grips for the sides. One is just a regular grip that I got from SmallRig. It was about $22 on Amazon. It also has screw mounts on the top if you want to attach additional accessories. But on the right side, I actually got a special grip. This is the Neewer side handle that also includes a capture button. You can actually pair this to your iPhone via Bluetooth and then use this trigger to start and stop recordings once you're in the camera app. This one's about $30. It charges via USB-C, and it even has an Allen key built into the bottom, which is pretty slick. I attached that to the right side of the cage, so now I have my side grips and a capture button built into one of the handles. I also wanted to put a top handle because I do plan to film my kids while they skateboard, and some of those low angles for skateboarding, easier to get with a top handle, and as you can see, this was footage I actually captured on my iPhone 16 Pro in 4K 120. Plus, this top handle from Neewer also has two cold shoe mounts, which I used both of them, and threads on the top for even more accessories. So now that I had the side handles and the top handle, I wanted to get something that could hold an external SSD securely. For that, I went with the SmallRig SSD mount bracket. I like this because it's an expandable clamp, so it'll fit various SSDs, and I tried it with several, and there's a little clamp to actually hold the USB-C cable going to that external SSD. It's a nice little touch, and then you don't have to worry about the cable getting loose at all from that external disk. So I clamped that SSD mount bracket to the right side of the cage on top, and then on the left side, I actually got one of these power bank holders. This could also hold a USB-C hub, which I actually tried to experiment putting the USB-C hub up there, and I actually decided to just kind of Velcro strap it to the bottom of the cage, but we'll get to that in a second. I mounted this power bank holder on the left top side of the cage. This way I can run that USB-C cable wherever I would like. And this is actually Anker's new Qi 2 power bank. It's their ultra slim version. I actually did an entire review on this. I'll link it above and in the video description, but charges at 15 watt speeds wirelessly, but it can also charge faster when you plug it in directly. So it will definitely keep up keeping your phone charged when you have it connected with a wire. And it probably goes without saying, but links to everything you see on the cage and that I talk about are down in the description. Now, once I had the SSD and power bank mounted, I did want to use a light, and a light I recently found, I think I saw it on TikTok first, is this tiny SmallRig light. Rechargeable via USB-C, one button, you can adjust the intensity by dialing that on the back. It can also change color temperature, which is pretty wild. Has 3 cold shoe mounts around the edge, so you can actually daisy chain these lights together if you wanted to. And the best part is it's only 20 bucks on Amazon. Now, if you want a light with a little more power and maybe even a ball joint to attach it, I recommend this SmallRig light. I'll link it below as well. I've used this one for a long time, and I love these newer ball joints. Really easy to place your lights or whatever accessories wherever you want. Lastly, for the other cold shoe mount on that top handle, I have an older Shinobi monitor. I'll link a newer one down in the video description. They have nicer features, better battery life nowadays. This is an older model, but it still works. And then the final piece of the cage is this Anker 8-in-1 USB-C hub. I've had this thing for years and it still works great. Transfer speeds are fast enough to record that 4K 120 and still plug that external SSD into the hub. I can plug that external monitor here, and then I plug the power bank into the other USB-C port so my phone is charging, recording the external SSD, and I can monitor on the external monitor all right here with this cable. I also got this cable, which I've tested and it works with multiple SSDs, has a right angle on one side, which makes it easier to connect to your phone, especially because the Pro Max is kind of large and there's not a ton of room between the edge of the phone and the edge of the cage. So once I built this entire rig, I did a bunch of tests trying to record 4K at 120 in ProRes. You can record 4K 120 directly to the iPhone non-ProRes, and that's fine. But if you want to record that in ProRes format, there are very few SSDs that are going to be fast enough to accommodate that data transfer. By the way, while I was testing all these SSDs and ProRes footage, I actually have this coolant thing, and yes, this actually does help keep your iPhone cooler. It has a fan on the back, but this actually gets cold. I've tried a few of these. This is the Black Shark phone cooler for about $40. Attaches to the back of your phone via MagSafe. You do have to power it with a USB-C cable, but this actually allowed me to keep filming in 4K 120 and my phone, which was getting hot, cooled down with this thing. So if you plan to do a ton of ProRes filming, you might want to pick one of these up too. Now, when it comes to testing SSDs, I tried a bunch of them, multiple from OWC, Anker's new MagSafe SD card holder, and my previous favorite, this Hagibis. Unfortunately, what I have found is that many SSDs that might be capable of 4K 30 ProRes and even 60 fall short when you try to go up to 120 frames per second. I'll put a link to this Apple support article in the description below, but Apple makes it clear that if you want to record 4K at 120, of course it's iPhone 16 Pro only, you need an external storage device that supports at least 440 megabytes per second transfer and a maximum power draw of 4.5 watts. Now, some devices like this newer Anker SD card holder, it's pretty cool. You open it up, you can put your own SD card in there, and I did test it with one of my more pro SD cards, but getting an SD card that will actually match that data transfer rate is pretty hard to get. These are actually the SD cards that I use in my Sony a7 IV mirrorless camera, and these only go up to 300 megabytes per second. That'll do 4K 60 according to Apple, but not 4K at 120. And for those faster cards, you're going to be paying for those speeds. If you wanted to get a 512 gigabyte version at 300 megabytes per second, you're looking at $600. So as fun as this little Anker one is, I was not going to be using this for 4K 120. Now, the Hagibis that I used in a previous video, it actually states that it uses USB 3.2 and 10 gigabits per second speeds. So it seems like the transfer from the Enclosure to the iPhone would be fine, and then you use your own NVMe. Now, I've actually been using this Sabrent NVMe in my Hagibis Enclosure, which does 4K 30 and even 60 just fine. But when I tried doing 4K 120 with this using different cables, ones that I knew work with other SSDs, it would just keep freezing and not recording. So unfortunately, this Hagibis is not going to work for 4K 120 either. I also tested this Zyke USB-C SSD, which is a really cool form factor, but it is not fast enough for 120. And unfortunately, one of my favorite external SSDs is this OWC Envoy Pro Electron, and it uses USB 3.2 and supposedly 10 gigabits per second transfer speeds. But this requires too much power from the iPhone, and every time I tried to record with it, it would stop, stutter, and sometimes I would get the error that said requires too much power. So of the external SSDs that I tested, there were exactly two that worked flawlessly. One is the OWC Envoy Pro Mini. I've been talking about this ever since the iPhone 15 Pro came out last year, and it works great. It might look like a normal flash drive, but this is actually a powerful SSD and can record 4K 120 just by sticking this directly into the iPhone. It is priced accordingly. For a terabyte, you're going to be paying $150, but I've been using this for the last year and it is rock solid and it works with the new iPhone 16 Pro. But if you're looking for a more inexpensive option, the Samsung T7 SSD, which I think you can also spot during Apple's event video, this works great for 4K 120. It's also the most reasonably priced. It's on sale right now on Amazon, a terabyte for $100, and it uses USB 3.2 Gen 2 with speeds of over 1,000 megabytes per second. Plenty fast for 4K 120. I recorded multiple clips several minutes long with that Samsung SSD and it worked great. So if you're looking for an SSD capable of that 4K 120, the Samsung T7, great economical option, and the OWC Envoy Pro Mini, highly recommend. And finally, the USB-C hub that I'm using is the Anker 8-in-1, worked great with all of it, including an external HDMI monitor through the hub. It recorded great in the built-in camera app, and I used Halide's Kino app to record some video at 4K 60, worked flawlessly recording to the external SSD and using that external monitor as well. And yes, if you're looking for an umbrella to go into one of those cold shoe mounts, you can pick one up for just $32. It is literally an umbrella, expands like that. It has a cold shoe mount on the bottom. I'll tell you what, this time I'll actually put it in my SmallRig light up here. It's also on a ball joint, so you could change the angle. So now if you plan to do a music video, maybe filming the weekend, and you're gonna have some rain, no problem. Again, links to everything in this cage and that I talked about is down in the video description. Those are Amazon affiliate links, and it helps out the channel when you buy them from down there. I'll also have a link to the Moment cage from their direct website. A lot of times it's out of stock on Amazon. Make sure you get subscribed and hit that like button. Even more iPhone 6 content is coming, especially cases. I'm gonna do leather cases, non-leather cases, all of them. Those videos are coming up soon. And some of the new features coming in iOS 18, which speaking of which, if you want to see everything that's new, 95 plus new features in iOS 18, I'll put that video right up here. And if you got a new iPhone 16 and you're not sure what to do with that camera control button, I did an entire video walking through all the settings and use cases. You can check that video out right up here. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.